I'm Dr. Sangeeta Pathak, and I have been practicing transfusion medicine for the past 26 years. Here today on May 18th, it's the World AIDS Vaccine Awareness Day, also known as the HIV Vaccine Awareness Day. I'm here to give certain information regarding it. And this day is observed globally to recognize the volunteers, the community members, the healthcare professionals and researchers working together to find a safe and effective vaccine to prevent HIV infection and AIDS. And it is also an opportunity for me to educate the communities about the importance of preventive HIV vaccine research, and a safe and effective preventive HIV vaccine would play an essential role in ensuring the end of HIV pandemic. We've gone through a bad pandemic of COVID, and India has successfully emerged with a vaccine, and so we are also hopeful for the HIV vaccine. And India has been working quite hard to eradicate the HIV/AIDS, which poses a serious health challenge to our community. We all know that, and efforts are now being made to reduce the number of HIV cases to zero. An impossible target, but still, and the nation has already achieved a big breakthrough to stop the HIV, to bring down the HIV prevalence in the last few years. However, there is a long way to go for an AIDS-free India, as country still has about 2.5 million people aged between 15 and 48 years which are living with HIV/AIDS. And AIDS, we all know, stands for acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, and HIV-infected person, he receives a diagnosis of AIDS after developing certain criteria like a CDC-defined AIDS indicator for the illness, and an HIV-positive person who has not had any serious illnesses also can be diagnosed as AIDS depending on certain blood tests like the CD4 counts. Now, a positive HIV/AIDS test result does not mean that a person has AIDS. A diagnosis of AIDS is made by a physician using certain clinical criteria like the AIDS indicator illnesses, which are there given by the government. Now, AIDS is a life-threatening disease which is caused by HIV, we all know, and it makes difficult for the body to fight the various infections that it has at that time. And there is no cure for AIDS. We all know that. We are working hard for the vaccine. And about 35.5 million people are living with HIV worldwide. Huge number. HIV is the strongest risk factor for developing TB also, the tuberculosis. We all know that, and that is also a major disease that hampers the living. And having talked about the severity of the disease, the prevention is the mainstay of the response to HIV/AIDS, as about 99% population of the country is still unaffected, and we need to prevent it for all these people to get it. So HIV infection is entirely preventable. We all know that. And if better awareness programs are run, I suppose it will help our community. And therefore, awareness raising about how it's transmitted, how it spreads is very, very important, and we need to make our people aware on that. And people can get or transmit HIV only through specific activities, such as having sex with a person who's infected with AIDS, or the use of injectable drugs, the drug abuse. And HIV can be transmitted even through the body fluids. We all know that, like the blood. We all know that blood, whenever being given to a patient, has to be AIDS-free. It has to be HIV-free, not AIDS-free, HIV-free, and we need to work on that also. And these fluids, which the examples of the fluids, others are like the semen, the pre-seminal fluid, the rectal fluids, the vaginal fluids, and the breast milk also. Then anyone can get HIV, but you can take steps to prevent HIV. So number one step is get tested for HIV and talk to your partner about HIV testing and get tested before you have sex with any unknown person. Then use condoms every time you have sex. Very, very, very important to prevent the HIV. Limit your number of sexual partners. Again, if you have multiple partners, please limit that and have sex if you are having with full responsibility with known people only. Then get tested and treated for STDs. We all know that STDs are they are precursors of HIV/AIDS. So we need to get, if you have STDs, we need to get treated for and tested for these STDs also. Then talk to your healthcare provider about the pre-exposure prophylaxis of AIDS, of HIV. And that also can prevent whenever you get certain things, like if you're a healthcare worker, you might get a needle stick injury. So at that moment, get a pre-exposure, and you should need to get a treatment for that also. Go and speak to your healthcare provider for that also. And do not use these drugs. They are main source of, if you are using the same needles with multiple peoples, you are likely to get HIV/AIDS if one of your partners is infected. And so being mindful and responsible in our actions would help us prevent HIV infection or AIDS. Thank you so much. Thanks.